you explained the story up until you got the news. So the cancer went and then it came back.
So I had treatment. I had treatment.
Sorry, I interrupted.
No,
Go back to the...
No, I think it's an important point to touch on, because I had treatment. I had chemotherapy. I completed the chemotherapy. I had loads of side effects. So actually my journey through chemotherapy was definitely not a smooth one. When I finally did complete chemotherapy on the 11th of January 2017, I was given the all clear. So my scan came back showing no evidence of cancer at all. And that's when I rejoiced, and I kind of announced it on my blog, and celebrations began. And that's when I began to plan for my wedding for the second time, because I think I've touched a bit on it. I had to kind of cancel my wedding about 3 times by the end of it. So I was planning for my wedding, and things just looked great. I'd beaten cancer, I'd had all the chemotherapy, I'd pulled through. And then about 2 months after being given that good news, I started breaking out in a really itchy, intense rash. And was starting to have some pain swallowing. And I remember I spoke to my doctors about that. And because of my scan results, I felt no one really thought this could be bad news. And I remember the first doctor I saw said, "Oh, let's just repeat your blood tests, and I'll see you in a few months' time." But I felt uncomfortable with that, because I was listening to my body then.
Okay,
so the message that I was giving out, I began to take it myself, and I felt something was not right. So I remember going down on a separate date down to the clinic. I didn't have an appointment, but I went down and I saw the head of the clinic, one of the doctors, the consultants, another one, and I said, "Listen, these are my symptoms. I'm worried." And then he said, "Okay, fine. I'm not worried. It's very uncommon. How you're presenting is not the way that your disease would present. So with it was urticaria, so hives, isn't a typical way. But because you've got some pain swallowing, there's no harm. Let's just do a scan." And in the meantime, I was sent to see an ENT specialist to see whether my pains with swallowing had to do with ENT, so ear, nose and throat, and I was also sent to a dermatologist to try and explain the rash. And then I got the scan result back. That was a shock. So I think because I'd felt such a positive, I felt that the doctors were so positive and about it not being a cancer, even though my body was telling me something wasn't right. So when I was told that, your cancer's back, and it's back and it's a bit worse than what it was, I felt at that point I probably wasn't as strong as I was first time round, because I felt, just those words, I felt like my life had just fallen in front of me again. And it took a lot of, I think it was the fact that I had to cancel my wedding again, and I'd put so much effort into planning it, and I'd gone back to work. So I'd just gone back to work, and I felt like I just found my feet, and I just felt,
and then you have to start
the
over
rug
again.
was pulled from under my feet. So that was hard. It took me a bit longer to pick myself up from that, but then eventually I did, and kind of gave myself a bit of a talking.
Alhamdulillah. What advice would you give for people that are going through something similar to what you are going through? And what advice would you give those around them, their loved ones, their family members?
So I would for anyone who's going through a similar journey, I'd say that it's okay not to be okay. It's okay to have low moments, or it's okay, we hear you have pain, you're suffering. We hear that, you are not alone. But at the same time, it's really important to remain positive, to find an inner strength, because actually you can really help yourself a lot. You can get the support of the world, but if inside you, if you don't want it, then it's difficult. However much everyone does something for you, you have to want to fight. And I'd say just don't give up, be positive, and whatever the outcome is, as you put in what you have, and you remain positive, and you'll get through. And if you don't, it's okay, because not everyone does get through it. But definitely having a positive outlook and acceptance, because I think a lot of people try not to accept.
Yeah, they try to reject the whole
Absolutely.
idea. And seeing the support that you got, and you said that was quite vital from your family and your loved ones. What if someone has from that experience, someone has a loved person going through that? What's the best thing they could do? How could they sort of make the other person feel better, I guess?
Definitely don't play it down.
Okay.
Because actually, when you're not well, you're not well, and so not to play it down, but to be by their side, to be encouraging, to give them space when they need space, but not to completely pull away, and actually to just be by their side, because actually it will, even if they don't thank you, even if they're just too unwell to acknowledge you, they are happy, they need you, and actually your support is really vital.